Hello, fellow pilots. My name is Steve Craig. I'm one of the board members for Angel Flight Soars and also a volunteer pilot, of course. And I'm here with the illustrious Bert Light, our chairman emeritus, and also fellow board member. And we go back a long way with Angel
For
Flight.
me, it's 1999.
Is it?
Yes.
I just marked 25 years, so get my math going for me. What's that?
Well, that
It's
would
about
be
the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure would.
So we jumped in about the same time then.
Absolutely.
Did you find out about it the same way I did? I was going through my instrument training here at what the old Epps Flight School, and I saw the display case.
Okay.
And that was like, oh, look, teddy bears. And it's, Bravo the Bear, and it just talked about Angel Flight. And I thought, oh, this is kind of a cool thing that they're doing, and, free medical flights. And that's kind of how I found out about it and then inquired. And then that becomes flying with a purpose, which is amazing. So is that kind of similar to what you did?
Identical. I was taking my instrument rating from Steve Shaner right next to.
Well, that's where the old Epps Flight School was.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. The same place.
Yeah. So after I got my instrument training, I went and bought my first Mooney. Okay.
It sounds so similar.
And then I'm looking for some place to go fly.
Yeah.
And Steve had told me about Angel Flight opening up upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and I came up and I met Janine, and hey, I'm Bert. I'm here to help. And you know how she takes your hand and just grabs you on in.
let me show you exactly what you can do for us.
Yes. We've
But
been
it's
waiting for you to come upstairs.
But it's amazing because, like we've talked about in the past, when you own your own aircraft, it's the $100 hamburger, which
Right.
has turned into the $500 hamburger. Vacation flights, sightseeing flights, doing things to just to do a weekend, to go sightseeing somewhere. That's fine and it's fun, but having a purpose is puts you on such a different level mentally, to me anyway. When you have a mission to fly, when you have people who are depending on you, you're doing something great for people who really, really need it. And it also helps out your instrument training as well, because you have to be current. You get to fly in conditions that you might not normally fly into. Nothing, horrible, but things that you might avoid if you're doing a recreational flight. So it's the same thing. Like when I owned my Piper, and just trying to find a way to do something more and give back. And that's one of the biggest things that I've had. I know you've had the same experience when sometimes you have a patient, sometimes it's maybe a family member on your mission, and they're in the right seat. And then you have a chance to show them everything. Have you done that before?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think every Angel Flight pilot remembers their first mission,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what gets them hooked into the next one and the next
Yes.
one and the next one. And for me, my first mission was a meeting right here at PDK. Was a young man, about 7 years old, and his father. And they were heading up to Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and the young boy, he had a tackle box with him.
Yeah.
And I made the joke, hey, are you going fishing once you get up to Boston? And the young boy, he opens up the tackle box, and every one of those little compartments was filled with pills.
Oh, man.
And his father said, well, my son has no immune system. We can't fly commercially, and we're headed up to Boston to see a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate what you're doing. And I came back from that mission. I came home to my wife, it's 1999. And I said, what I just did, they need us. And so both of us started volunteering. We were very event heavy then. We were at every event and helped out. And that's when I joined the board.
Nice.
Yes. And that's when I met you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's 25 years later. We're still flying missions, and it's still as rewarding as it was for that first mission.
Oh, absolutely. I have just about every thank you card and note that all the patients have given me over the years.
Yeah.
And if you read those, the tears will start coming. I mean,
I was going to say, as soon as we start recounting certain missions, then you get choked up because you get attached to them. Some are very, very sad missions, but yet you're actually helping them in a lot of ways. If it's a transitional type of
hope
situation
that's
they're going
what
through.
we say. We're giving people hope.
Exactly.
And you, like me, and probably every other Angel Flight pilot, comes home and says, I have no problems. I have zero problems because you come home after hearing some of these stories and you just say, everything's good. Even, I went through cancer treatment myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lucky enough that I was able to walk to the facility of Piedmont Hospital. I lived right over that
Yeah.
way. So, but some of these people are traveling from Mississippi down to the cancer treatment center in Noonan, and they're having to come back and forth and relying on us.
One of the greatest experiences I had, and this is when I was doing a lot of missions, weekly missions. Three times a week, was what I call my helmet head kids.
Right,
And I always forget the name of the condition, but it's a misshapen cranium that they're born with. It's not life threatening, but they always have to come in and get their
back here is a
there might be a couple of
me with one of them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And those, and the funny thing is, the kids are great, and they ended up. We got a couple of Angel Flight stickers they put on their helmet, but they would literally get in the back seat, and then they'd fall asleep. They're out. But the parents, and that's always the in the right seat, and that's when you kind of show them a little bit of what you're doing, and then after a while say, hey, go ahead and take the yoke, and then you kind of tell them, hey, you're flying the plane, Really? But it's just fun, but I was doing that over and over and over again because these poor families. The expense that they would have to go through, and they could be living in Tennessee or the Carolinas or down in Florida, wherever. So we were picking them up, bringing them in to PDK to go to Emory to get just the adjustments, and then they'd fly back out again. Sometimes I was doing the 2 missions a day, bring them in, and then in the afternoon take them back out again. But they were so appreciative, and it takes such a big burden off of them.
You can see the release of stress from a person, when their child was in the back seat, they don't have to worry about getting there. They don't have to worry about the traffic. They don't have to worry about anything. They just feel very relieved. And, it's most of them fall asleep. Most of the people I fly fall asleep.
So now, Bert, when you're not flying missions, what are you doing? Because you were of quite the business owner, ArtLight, of course, and you've retired from that. You're not flying 24/7. So what are you doing in the meantime?
Do you know that most of my downtime is most enjoyable? And to tell you the truth, I just learned how to play mahjong.
Oh, really?
It's becoming the craze.
Okay. Do you have one of those automated boards that actually shuffle everything and come up with?
Not yet. I have the cheap tiles because I want to make sure that my wife and I are still playing.
Nice.
From here.
And you're a big cyclist too, aren't you?
We are. Yeah, we go on cycling vacations and such. But I start every morning 2 hours in the gym.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Yeah,
and then the rest of the day is clear until nap time.
Nice. Well, I have a personal question for you. Since you are a big cyclist, you and your wife, do you have one of those convertible bikes you can throw in the plane and go?
No, I don't. No, but I tell you what, on our last bike trip up to New York, I got on my first e-bike. I swore I never would, but now I'm a changed person.
There you go.
Yeah, an e-bike.
Nice.
Living on the Beltline, they're all up and down that Beltline. Those e-bikes are it. I transitioned from out of the Malibu and decided I could make that transition call via getting of age where insurance companies don't want you anymore, and they kick you off by tripling your insurance rate. Yeah. And so I decided to become a renter, and now I'm enjoying flying the brand new Cirruses, if you want, from Aero Atlanta. If we want to.
That's why I like what are you paying an hour on that?
$480 an hour.
Wet rate.
Wet.
And those are brand new Cirruses, though, like the G7s and 8s.
G7 Perspective with 110 hours on them.
Yeah.
Auto return.
Oh, the big red button.
The big red button.
Nice.
Yeah, which as a pilot, you can't use.
Right. It's for the
Because
passenger.
it sends out a signal all across to FAA, to
Right.
traffic controllers.
Yeah.
You know, you're shutting
But
down the airspace.
but that's the thing is if
Yeah.
if you're a solo pilot and you feel a heart attack coming on,
Yes.
can you do that? I
Sure,
mean, yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you always, in a spin and stall, you got the
Parachute.
parachute.
Yeah. That's what I like about my partnership, so-called partnership. It's a 2007
Yes.
SR-22, but the wet rate for me is like what's it, it's like 180,
Wow.
$180, an hour. So yeah, it's like
So I got checked out on the 20, the 22, and then the turbo.
Mhm.
The turbo is the exact same engine that was in my Malibu.
Hmm.
So you can imagine putting that thing in the Cirrus
Mhm.
thing. It flew. But from the 20 to the 22 is a little over $100 an hour difference.
Hmm.
And then from that one to the turbo,
Yep.
it goes like, forget it.
Yeah.
So the difference is for me doing angel flight, hey, so I'll get there 15, 20 minutes later in
Right.
a 20 than a 22.
Yeah. And I like the fact that Mark uses it for business,
Okay.
but his so I fly whenever it's available, but I don't have to worry about the annuals or anything like that. But he just went through a $20,000 annual
Yeah.
on the 22.
So as the price of an hourly rate,
Mm-hmm.
I get to walk away.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I'm out of
I love it. I don't have
After
headaches.
owning an airplane and where we were based up at McCullum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
That's where I was based.
we had the plane for 10 years prior, and when we started with the hangar, it was $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
By the time 10 years later, over $1,000 a month, going up 5% every 6 months.
Wow. Should I guess I shouldn't tell you that when I was at McCollum for
Yes.
the 8 years that I had the Piper,
Yes.
zero rent.
Oh my gosh.
Because what was his name? John, who ran Northside, the
Yeah.
FBO, the old FBO there,
Yeah.
was, and I was the AOPA airport
Okay.
representative,
Right.
And he said, "Hey, because of my media status," he says, "Hey, just talk about us. Give us some props whenever you go flying. Talk about flying. Just talk about Northside Aviation. Talk about the restaurant. Talk about this,
Yeah.
this." And he says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." So I was actually in the corporate hangar.
Okay.
So I would call up the guys going 55140. Can you bring them out and fill them up? Bring her out and fill her up. Yeah, you're doing Steve, right? So I just come back and it's right out front of FBO.
Yeah, that's how it was.
It was great.
We were at Hawthorne,
Mhm.
and that's what we did. We'd call up in advance, and they'd have it up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It was so funny to see, these
$1,000 a month.
all the corporate jets and all the
Yeah.
stuff in the front, and then here's my little Piper sitting in the back. And granted, I had I don't know if you ever seen mine, but I had a great little paint job on it. Once I did I put the new Reman engine, put the avionics, everything. I said, while you're doing all this, might as well paint it.
Yeah.
So they did a tear down inside inspection to check any type of corrosion. It was in great shape for a 73. And then I said, just paint it. So I took it down to Griffin. I just chose my paint scheme, and it was a beautiful little plane. And it's still flying. I keep in light contact with a doctor. I forget his last name, but the doctor who owns it and still flies it around Bellingham, Washington.
Cool.
And so it made it over the Rockies. And sometimes I'll pull the number up on FlightAware, and he just bounces around the islands there in the sound. And I don't know if he does, if it's just, either recreational or if he uses it for his practice or whatever. But sometimes he'll go into Washington and then he'll come back. But the island that he's living on has its own little private airstrip, whatever.
Nice.
And I've seen some photos of him. And the funny thing is, the latest photo that I saw, and it would have been like maybe 5 years old, someone took a picture of the plane taking off. There's a guy who does just photos of planes taking off or whatever. So I looked up the tail number, and there it was. Again, it had him like taken off, and then my Angel Flight halos are still on it, still on the window.
That's great.
Because back when we were awarding those, so like if you did like 5 or 10 missions, you get a little halo, almost like back in like World War II, you get like a little little chit if you shot down somebody or whatever. So
Now, did you have to go through Cirrus training?
Yeah, I did that at Aero Atlanta. When
Okay.
I owned the Piper, I did when Daniel opened up the center.
Okay.
Um,
Was that online at that time? Because when I
mm,
transitioned from the Malibu over to the Cirrus,
mhm,
okay, I was coming out of the old six pack,
mhm,
in a 530 and a 430, and then
mhm.
you get into this Cirrus that looks like you're playing video
Yeah,
games.
exactly. Yeah.
I had to do Cirrus online training, which
Mhm.
was, gosh, about 30 hours
Mm.
of
No,
training,
mine was just like
and
it was just like a
then
regular flight school.
get with an instructor
Yeah,
for
and I can't
another
remember if it was here or
10.
McCollum. It must
Well, he's
must
at
have been
both
McCollum.
places, but I think he originally
McCollum,
McCollum.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's where it was. Is he had
yeah,
his training center, but it was just I had an instructor, and
yeah,
we flew the Cirrus, and then it
yeah.
was your classroom ground instruction and everything. Nothing online. It was
Okay.
just
Well,
get in
Cirrus now has beautiful courses
there. Oh, I bet,
online. I mean,
I bet.
it's just
But I started flying
unbelievable.
those, and then all of a sudden, when your stick is
Yeah,
over here, you're going, "Oh, this is kind of nice. I
yeah, it
like this."
is.
And then that's when my girlfriend at the time was trying to get me to sell the plane, and I said,
Uh,
"Dude, I need this." And then I'm thinking, okay, well, I can rent Cirrus, yeah, kind
yeah,
of thing. But
yeah.
Cirrus will do.
But I can tell you from owning, and I see the love of owning an airplane.
The
But
same thing with a
here
boat.
I got over 20, 24, maybe 30 airplanes available to me at
Hmm.
two different airports
Yeah.
that I can rent
Hmm.
brand new
Yeah.
airplanes and
Yeah.
then walk away from. And,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a great feeling.
I think I come out better
Hmm.
renting than I
Yeah.
do owning
I mean,
because,
yeah.
if one of them's down, they're going to put me in another
Yeah.
one.
Do you ever have trouble um, getting missions, like signing up for missions?
No. I look at the website at least a couple of times a day.
Hmm.
And like now I see a couple in 1st of October for, that I like,
Hmm.
and I'll fly, Chattanooga to Augusta to back here, or
Hmm.
the other day from here to Albany, Georgia, and
Yeah,
back. And yeah, I find the missions are there and available.
because I
Yeah.
like the way it's gone now with the Angel Flight app, the website.
Yes.
Because back in the day, as you know, we would come into the Angel Flight office here
Right.
and look at the big dry board. It's like I could take that mission, I could take that one. The weekend ones were usually gone, but
Yes.
now it's a different type of sign up. So for the pilots that we have, the volunteers, it's
Hmm.
an easier process. So if you feel like it's maybe difficult to grab missions, just call Bernadette,
Yeah.
call the office, get the ones, and then they'll find a mission for
Right.
you.
Yeah, it used to be Bernadette would call and say, "Hey, can you leave work? Can you come take this mission and
Exactly. It's like,
such?"
yeah, I could do that. Sure.
Yeah, I tell you, it is very easy. I like the app because I also look back on it has all my flights
Yeah.
and everything, so
Hmm.
I can count how many I've done during the year and
Excellent.
such.
It's been 25 years or more of pleasure,
It
working and
has.
flying with you too, and on a couple of missions we've done, and
That's
yeah,
right.
just
You
just
still have that
it's
video
been
that
awesome.
you
So
took of me in the right seat and you in
yes,
the left.
which is rare to have him in the right seat. Usually it's
Yeah.
the other way
Thank
around.
you for letting me do the radio
That
silent.
was awesome.
You
Yeah.
know?
But Bert, thank you so much for talking with us. And like I say, if you're looking for missions, get in there, find them. Always be in contact with Bernadette, either on the phone or text. She's just if you're on her radar, she'll get you on radar.
Oh yeah.
And Angel Flight is our name. Missions are our game. So fly more missions.
Yeah. Take that first one.